All right, let me get a quick drink. I don't remember how much I lost the end of the last stream. My computer blue screened, and so lost some amount of progress. It didn't seem like much. I've replaced the water purifiers, and I think that was it. Maybe I did some other, like, small tasks, but I legitimately do not remember what they were. So, I don't know. If this kicked me back super hard, so be it. Doesn't mean I'm gonna have to figure out what the heck I was up to. Because, yeah, last time I streamed this was pre-Christmas, and now it's post-Christmas, and now I'm a little lost. Let's see. Trying to remind myself of everything. We can actually see how much of each of these areas is still mucky. And, oh, no. Oh, interesting. Yeah, the lower section of this is still mucky, and I'll have to figure out how to get access to that. Let's see. A snow event that hit the Northeast was nuts too. Yeah, honestly I liked it. So I live in Northeast US. We had a not a huge snowstorm where we are. For me it was just I think we got about 4, maybe 5 inches of snow. I think some people got a lot more than we did. Let's see. Working on the atmosphere purifier, and I still got plenty of power. But so that hit right in the middle of Boxing Day, which is the day after Christmas, which is when a lot of stores have sales. And so, Shell and I had decided to go out for Boxing Day, mostly just because it's always kind of fun going out and seeing, like, all the people, scrambling to do sales stuff at the end of the year. Or end of the year after Christmas, because a lot of companies put things up, you know, on a discount, and also it's just kind of amusing. And so we'd gone out to Barnes & Noble. We went to go grocery shopping because my in-laws had given us a bunch of ham as like leftovers from Christmas, and neither Shell or I eat a whole lot of ham anymore. I used to have ham on like sandwiches, like big chunks of ham, but I've been trying to cut down on all of my meat consumption like pretty heavily over the last couple of years. So kind of put the kibosh on that. And so it's like, okay, we have like maybe 1.5 pounds of ham. What do we do with it? And I knew as a kid my mom would make split pea soup. I don't have this like fond nostalgia for it. I was just like, from what I remember, it's a really easy recipe. You just toss it in a pot and let it go for a while. And that's very much the kind of cooking I enjoy doing. I really like being able to just let a slow cooker rip and check back up on it periodically over the course of a couple hours. It just feels good. And so, yeah, we picked up some split peas, potatoes, and we already had celery. I don't remember if we needed anything else for it. And then we also picked up like a loaf of bread to have with the split pea soup, and then just other like basic things that we'd run out of over the course of Christmas. Because I do not want to go grocery shopping right before a major holiday. It's always a zoo. You know, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to do it at like 9 p.m. because our local grocery store closes at midnight. It used to be a 24-hour grocery store, and I kind of miss that. But I also get that was not really worth it. But I remember going grocery shopping a couple of times at 3 a.m. and there was something kind of cozy about that. Anyway. So went grocery shopping, picked up split pea soup materials, and I made that split pea soup yesterday. More on that later. But the other place we'd gone to was, yeah, the local Barnes & Noble to see, like, hey, are there any good deals? Because they have, like, Barnes & Noble is a bookstore chain in the US, but over the last X number of years, they've done a pretty good job of expanding their collection to cover a couple other types of things. They always had, like, a decent movie selection, and so that's honestly where we get a lot of our movies now, is just, like, walking in, it's like, oh, there's a sale on Criterion Collection movies. Okay, let's pick up some, like, old samurai flicks. Sure, why not? They also have, like, a decent amount of board games, and it's not huge, like, compared to your, like, a good, friendly local board game store. It's not much. Okay, I'm gonna have to remember. I'll leave these here. There's exactly 2 containers I can raid next to each other. But like, as far as stores that sell board games that are like big retail, big box stores, I guess kind of a big box store. But you know, a retail store that sells a decent amount of, or that sells board games on top of other stuff. Their selection of board games at Barnes & Noble is, like, actually really good. Like, it's a lot of well-rated games or semi-popular games that people have heard of and would not feel weird about picking up and, like, playing and owning. If that makes sense. Like, there's definitely some oddities, but, like, most of the games that I walk in and see on the shelf, I'm like, yeah, I own that. I like that game. That's a keeper. And so, like, credit to them. Whoever curates their board game collection does a very good job of it. As compared to, like, Target, where I look at, like, half the board games and I'm like, this is just dumb licensed junk. Or, like, old school games. Let's see. And, like, nothing to knock, like, an old... Oh, oxygen critical. Uh-oh. Dude, where's my car? I think we'll make it. Whew! I had the deconstruction on, and it was like, you can't deconstruct that car. I'm like, get in, you fool. Alright, anyway. What was I gonna say about any of these things? I guess we should plop it back in the back of my car. Just to potentially have those cleared out. Oops. Moved something over I wasn't supposed to. There we go. Anywho. So, yeah, have generally been impressed with Barnes & Noble selection, and so, like, when we'd first moved here, let's see, how much toxic water? 75. Okay. When we first moved here, it was, like, a couple days before Christmas, and so we're still kind of getting set up, but we had randomly decided to walk over to Barnes & Noble after Christmas, and they're doing, like, a buy one, get one 50% off, and so we bought, like, I'm gonna say it was, like, 10 board games in one day. You know, back when that sale was going on, which was obviously, like, a little much, but actually we've kept a number of those board games. Like, they were quite good. We also live near a board game store that lets us sell used board games, so if we don't like them, we can just offload there. Anyway, we didn't actually find any board games we were, like, super excited about, but they did have the Battletech Alpha Strike box, and I don't think I have, like, a really strong desire to play, like, tons of Battletech. But as somebody that recently got pretty big into Warhammer Age of Sigmar, at least collecting, not playing, we'll get to playing. Anyway, I want to do a video at some point kind of comparing and contrasting Warhammer to a number of its, like, more notable competitor games or something like that. And so I figured, yeah, I should pick up at least a starter box for Battletech just to see what that's all about. Anyway, so yeah, that's what we picked up at... Oh, there's a blue box here. How did I miss this blue box like the 4 or 5 times I've driven by it? Or maybe I haven't. No, completely missed this thing. Wow. That's impressive and confusing. But yeah, so we have the Battletech Alpha Strike box. It's been at least sitting on my floor. I need to actually do something with it. But I'm busy. Let's see. I guess actually, it really doesn't matter what I put in here, because this just does supply everything. So we can just toss any level of, like, toxic material into these. Good to know. I am going to have to figure out better storage solutions in here. This is not great. How much stuff we've just got kind of stacking up in here. But I'll leave that for a little while longer. I think mostly it's just having, like, a chest for Blazar quartz. And more chests for bark. Okay, actually, some things have stocked up. Let's get some quartz storage down. Considering I have a whole mess of quartz. Don't I have a storage thing for quartz upstairs? Maybe it's just full. Fertilizer. Or do these just not have anything in them? Okay, cool. I'm just gonna have this have every single quartz. That way if I need more quartz, everything other than pulsar quartz, yeah, that'll just get catch-alled in there. That's good. Let's see, seeds 2. Yeah, these are just full. which I should probably mess around with. I'm just being lazy. Food seeds. Let's see. This is growing nice and fast. Got plenty of mushrooms, eggplants, and some other things. So let's actually figure out some auto crafters. Where's my... I guess I could just drink it out of this thing. Okay, so I want to figure out... I do want to put a new teleporter down somewhere, but I'll leave that for a bit. We want to make an amount of auto crafters. So I need osmium and super alloy in quantity. Let's just do 4 of them. We need 8 osmium. Okay. I'm just going to set these up in here. We've got a number of recipes that we can kind of auto-craft. So we want to do bioplastic nuggets. That'll be bottled water and... Okay, I'm going to need water then. And... what's the other one? So that's the one that uses mushrooms. I know there's some that use honey-cooked beans. Huh. You have fertilizer, but that requires algae. Maybe I can actually start harvesting algae at this point. Because yeah, I should have these at least kind of making each of these things, even if they currently cannot. Okay. So I'm going to need storage solutions for water and algae at the very least. Okay, just regular super alloy. Oh. That's why we don't have any. Okay. Well, do we leave that for the moment? Because I could just put down some regular lockers. I think I'm going to do that. I prefer to support Barnes & Noble over Amazon. Yeah, that's kind of where I stand. Like, I know Barnes & Noble is still a big corporation, and that, you know, they're not... I would rather support a fully independent business if I can, but if I'm forced to choose, I will buy from Barnes & Noble any day over Amazon. In fact, I actually haven't shopped at Amazon for multiple years at this point. I recognize I'm streaming on Twitch, a Amazon-owned platform, and so there is some degree of, like, ick to that, but... Okay. Do water. Let's see. Algae, I don't know if we have algae yet. Like, I do not know if I can generate it, but I'll give it a shot. We have some bodies of water. And then... I have fertilizer storage. Don't I just have oxygen capsules? Because I know there are a number of things that require it. Sure. I just don't think we're generating it anywhere. But hey, if we get extra, we have extra. Alright, close out of this. Oh, right. I can fit one more. Should probably actually just stick more of these lockers in, just like this. Kind of have them really nice and tight with the wall. Because it's better than these, like, raw-looking entryways, which look kind of gross to me. And so having just, like, random lockers kind of on these support pillars looks good. Okay. So I was going to do... Oh, was I going to do another auto crafter for something basic that I could be sitting on large quantities of? I mean, the overkill option... We never actually demanded anything in here. Huh. Fabric? Sure. Because I don't think I have fabric storage in this entire setup. Yeah. Yeah, when buying from a store, my general goal is to always do local game store, local whatever store, bookstore, game store, you name it. Followed by, let's see, do I actually have this set to supply? We do, good. Followed by like local chain that actually has like a physical location somewhere. Followed by online ordering, for the most part. If it's the original creator, I will order from them directly. So like, I get all my Paizo books for Pathfinder and Starfinder from Paizo. Not always, actually. It kind of varies. Let's see, circuits. That's 6, so we can get 3 of these. I can do more, but this should be good enough. Oh, I guess I should make the super alloy rods at the other base and have an auto crafter set for them. Probably. Okay, so why don't we do T2 locker storage? Let's see if I can kind of have it be in the center of the room. Goal here is to just largely fill in these quadrants. And use as much of this room as I possibly can. That last second shift, I bunged my wrist right before I started this and it hurts. Okay, so we want this to just demand bark. And just more seeds. At some point I can organize these seeds. Actually, let's go back into this. I'm gonna nix Lerma off of that. Because we might as well have Lerma seeds kind of on their own. There we go. Because there's so many Lermas. And eventually we can organize this so it's like Shanga and Pestera as well. We'll figure it out. Hey, thank you, William Reed, for the 69-month resub. And, let's see. That is a nice number. I like the fact that that stuck around. That, you know, no matter how much time has passed, 69 will always be nice. I mean, maybe it'll switch away at some point, but I don't know. I like the permanency of culture. It's weird when things don't stick around, but I get it. So this is extra... Oh, this was my extra quartz and water bottle storage. I should probably offload some of these at some point. We might also need more purified water storage. Okay. I did want to build another autocrafter somewhere to do something. Yes, but not here. Go back to Fart Home for a second. Okay. So they are generating some of these. And no super alloy. But yeah, we can build at least one more of these. I don't know. We could probably do explosive powder. Because yeah, we're not making any explosive powder. There we go. This way, hopefully, as my other base fills out and there isn't a whole lot of space to put any of these things, they'll just get brought here and converted into whatever requisite resources, or whatever resources I just cannot store. Grab the rocket engines. Is there anything in, like, half of these? There's some toxic spores. I'll take them out for the time being. Same thing with the purification capsules. Because we should probably make sure that they end up in a different location. And if they just end up back in here, then that just means the other base is full. Perfect. Better than 6-7. Yeah, I still don't get that. I know it's supposed to be just like absurdism. You know, Badger Badger Mushroom. But like, at least Badger Badger Mushroom was catchy. I know this is me just old manning here, but it is interesting how much stuff like that does change from like era to era. for how permanent it feels like a lot of video games have become. You know, people are still playing freaking Minecraft for forever. Dumb memes are just wildly different on a year-to-year basis. And that will never not be just a little surprising to me. But, I mean, a lot of it is a reflection of the sign of the times. Like, you know, things are wildly different for... like, culturally for people, they are going to have different memes as a response. Okay, so I had... Okay, I do have water here, so it's stacking up. I don't think we need to do too much with that one. I was going to figure out algae. That's the ticket. Because we need the algae generator. Okay, we might actually have some trouble here. I might not have much for bioplastic. Oh, at least bioplastic is quote-unquote readily available. The issue must be we don't have a supply of silicon nearby. But it's on the other side of the... Yeah. Okay. Let's just build another one of these nearby. But a small one. I'll just put it here. Okay, so we're going to demand silicon. We're going to have priority high. Namely because we kind of want that to always be stocked. And this should at least get us started on the bioplastic. I feel old about Minecraft. I've been playing since early beta in 2011. Yeah. I think I got into Minecraft and it was this spring of 2010. That's when me and my friend group started playing an amount of Minecraft. I think it was 2010. Yeah, because somebody had a connection with Mojang in like my friend group because we were all at like a computer science fraternity. And so as a result, let's see. Do I have... the heck am I storing my fertilizer? Probably over on the other side. I might want to actually move or have a second... Oh yeah, here it is. Here we have no fertilizer. Oh boy. Well, it's okay. I can recycle the fertilizer 2 down, I think. Yeah, I think somebody had a connection with Mojang, so got access to it early. I think even then it was like kind of already available. I forget. Oh. Oh, the algae that was rolling out. I really hate this thing. I really wish it would just convert from one thing to a box. Because every once in a while a resource just winks out of existence. But it was just algae, which I don't actually need for this project, so it's not a problem. Anyway, yeah, I think I played a couple hours of Minecraft, thought it was fun, and then stopped because I had other better things to do. A couple of people got so hooked on Minecraft, even back in like 2010, that their grades tanked in like a big and noticeable way. And I don't know, that was kind of the lesson for me to stay the hell away from Minecraft. Now, will my bots grab algae from these? Let's see, Wonder House Little Rocket Lab. Charming. I liked it a lot. I would like to play more of it, just have been busy. I mean, that's true of like so many games. Okay, so we've got a bunch of T4 mutagens sitting around. A lot of food. And a lot of, you know what? Let's grab the toxic goo removal charges. I think it's about time we actually just use those. Maybe I should have actually thrown a water bottle in. It's fine. We got the ability to build a teleporter. Let's see. So we've got a couple of places I haven't cleared out. This one, I think I'm going to put a teleporter in here and start cleaning this area out. Or we could go back to the wall and start cleaning that area. I think I'll start with this section because it seems interesting. Of course, how the heck do I get anywhere? We will see. As a cool structure. I really like the various runes that they've got in this game. I think my only wish with it is that I was actually able to rebuild and fix them and get them to do something for me. Mega structures are fun as like set pieces, but repairing a mega structure so you can use it, that would be really neat. But they're still fun to explore. Same thing with the giant wall dam that we have in other places. Oh boy. That's a lot. I should probably have grabbed base building bits. Oh well. Yeah, I think I'm going to set a base up right here. Because we've got the spiral staircase to get access to as well. Okay, so I'm going to need titanium and iron. I think I might actually be able to put some water purifiers down over here too. There's 500, oh boy, that's 500 water. Ugh. And I know this is only like 30 seconds from my previous base, but still. Anything that saves me a long walk is worth it in my opinion. Okay, put the base. It's a box with a door. With a teleporter in it. There's no base to be found here. Cool. You know what? Let's go back to field. I'll get a couple of lockers down. Or do we want lockers? No. You know what we want? We want toxic goo storage. So I'm going to need silicon and plastic. Let's do 4. This is going to be a lot. Yeah, it's not microplastics, though apparently we actually have a lot of microplastics stacked. Plastic polymer? Oh. We actually are not generating as much of this stuff as I thought I was going to. Well, these aren't full up, so... Okay, this one's full. Probably because we don't have enough purified water storage. Good to know. I think the other thing is, yeah, we're just constantly converting these into plastic rods, which is fine. Actually, we're about to fill out on those. Okay, so I'll put 2 of the silicon back. We don't need that many of these tanks. Okay. Oh, you know what? Let's figure out a toxic water collector. Build one of those as well. So, wonder any resolutions for the new year? Last year, I was really bold about them. I'm always really bold about my New Year's resolutions, and I'm kind of garbage at keeping to them. This year's resolutions are... Okay, we need 2 of these, and I need the... not purification capsules. Pristine mushrooms. Oh, purification gel. There it is. Perfect. Okay, so 1, I want to start doing tabletop RPGs. Again, I already have 2 campaigns kind of underway. And if you've ever seen any of my tabletop RPG campaigns, you know that this is like lots of art assets and like character and monster portraits and maps and stuff. The problem is like my production value's gone up, and so that's slowing me down. And also just I've been busy and a little depressed. Partly because I haven't been playing tabletop RPGs. Anyway. Let's see. Get that there. Oh, do we want to... You know what? Yeah, I'm going to do this here. I'm going to do 1 toxic goo storage right here. This is just going to demand toxic water. There we go. Let's see. But yeah, the two I'm working on, I'm pretty happy with, actually. So if we're lucky, they will actually turn out to be kind of good. We'll see. And then the other... What else am I working on? I want to go back to making some more, like, video SAE content. It's been a while since I've done that. And there's, like, a lot of topics that have been kind of on my brain in a way that, like... What is the point of having a toxic goo disposal unit? You just end up hoovering up the toxic goo in the area. I will say it's effective. It did take out, like, a lot of these simultaneously. I think I'd rather just use the beam, though. Now, if it was a toxic goo collector grenade that would, like, hoover up all the stuff in the area and then just, like, pull it into one small container, I think I'd like it better. I think this is... They're just a little inconvenient for me, so I think we might want to toss them in the recycler. Let's see, what was the other thing? I mean, honestly, biggest one is really getting those tabletop RPGs going. Yeah, like those grenades from Prey? Exactly. Okay. Did put a door on it. Terrible spot for a door, to be honest, but hey. I really wish there was a way I could, like, auto recycle a bunch of things simultaneously. Oh, shit. Yeah, these things give me pristine mushrooms. I know I can make them eventually, but, like, normally they're slightly hard to come by, so actually this works out. Still wish there was just a better recycling machine, but hey. And yeah, I want to grab each and every one of these just because. Played Root as your first tabletop experience. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're going to be doing Draw Steel and a combination of 2 tabletop RPGs for the other one. That's going to be Monster of the Week crossed with Triangle Agency. Because I don't actually like Triangle Agency as a game, but it has some really interesting mechanics and ideas. And so I was just going to literally toss them into a fusion with Monster of the Week. I think that should be a lot of fun to play around with, just taking a while to make all the stuff. Yeah, shame the drones can't automatically recycle. Yeah. Oh well. A goo vacuum cleaner. Yeah. I don't know, I just want like a big AoE like beam that I'm just like hosing around to clean things up. And having it suck automatically into my backpack rather than the grenades. But knowing I can get pristine mushrooms from the grenades, or not the grenades, well, yeah, recycling the grenades instantly makes the grenades a lot better, just not in the way I think the developer intended. It's fine. Anywho, what other things do I have as kind of like aspirations for this year? Not too much. Like, I want to do stuff like writing books or losing 20-30 pounds, but I think like trying to put like a do that within a year thing is rougher. How much do I have? I have 150 in this area. Cripes. Oh, that's fine. Not like this is taking that long. It is definitely doing that thing where the 0.3 is definitely multiplied due to the fact that this is like a larger area, and so it has more. It's genuinely worse for my character. I'm okay. There we go. You have to go way far away to get it out of that zone. Oh well. I think one of my like long-term goals is to somewhat separate myself out from the need to be churning new indie games on like my sole YouTube channel. This has been something I've kind of talked about at least a couple of times, that like I love covering new indie games. I think that's a lot of fun. It was starting to get a little bit frustrating that I was like only doing a single episode on a game just because like, hey, I actually want to see what the end of Planet Crafter looks like, as the easiest possible example. But the other problem with that is the YouTube algorithms have been shifting pretty hard. Shell was telling me about how A person who, like, okay, way back when I started my YouTube channel, ooh, I should go build a bunch of those. Way back when I first started my YouTube channel, the, like, name of the game was search results, that you wanted to get, you wanted to rank high on search and you get tons of views, and you more or less were guaranteed to do well as a YouTuber. Unfortunately, things have changed kind of dramatically over the last couple of years. Why am I leaving this here? I can actually just bring this back with me and save my drones the trip. But then it was like recommendations, and now it's, I guess, still recommendations, but it feels that much more like chaotic and bad. And so it's made being a YouTuber slightly more unpleasant, because I truly will like put my heart into a video and it will get like no views at all. And then I'll like randomly throw out like a random video, like completely just, I have nothing else. Here's Etrian Odyssey 3 and it'll do like better than any other video in the entire week, which is confusing to me because, you know, that's not what I built my channel on. I've done dungeon crawler RPGs, but it's not my thing. And yet, for whatever reason, my Etrian Odyssey video from a couple of days ago is doing pretty well, which is weird. Anyway, it makes it so it's difficult to predict what's going on anymore. With like, how do I, as a creator, kind of respond to the algorithm? How do I even stay? No, there's the pristine mushroom that got deleted from existence this time. You know what? I'm gonna put this in the middle of a room. Let's also go see if it's underneath the base. No, it's not. It just winks out of existence. It's weird and frustrating. Oh well. Hey, thank you, Lord KO9, for the 72-month resub. Okay, we're gonna slap this thing right here, smack dab in the center of this room. Nothing. There should be no collision physics that will cause this to lose stuff, I hope. Anyway, yeah, so my goal is to, I'm not going to say free myself from algorithm hell, but at least make it so that I'm not as reliant on one singular channel, that is being ruled by the algorithm all at once. So the tabletop RPG thing is going to be on a separate YouTube channel, which is going to be on a separate YouTube channel from also, so I'm going to have a channel. Potentially, we did lose a thing there. Just wasn't the mushroom, it was the sulfur that time, I think. Yep. That is a weird buggy machine and I hate it. It's fine. Let's see. But have like 3 separate channels. I guess 4, technically, if you want to throw in the essays. They're all kind of doing things independently of each other. So what is going on? I want to open Jonas Avridson so I can put more things in it. All right, there we go. Anything else? I think we're clear. We just go back. Do we want to live and drink? I think we live and drink. Guess I'm going to have to go all the way out here. It's fine. Anyway, have like a couple different channels that are all doing things independently of each other. A little slower, I think. Just because that is a lot of work for one person, but if one channel is not doing well, hopefully at least 1 or 2 of the other ones are. So it can kind of like smoothly flow from like one topic and project to the next without being like, oh shit, you know, the algorithm changed, my views are dropping, what do I do? And like if every single one of those channels cannot take off, then maybe I just accept that, hey, YouTube is dying and I should just find some other path. And so kind of the goal with like the tabletop RPG is to kind of somewhat go for the, I don't want to say the friends at the table format, because I think they're a little hard. Okay, so for people that don't know, Friends at the Table is like one of the bigger tabletop RPG podcasts. Not the biggest. Yeah, I think that belongs to Critical Role and maybe like, it's not Roll20, Dimension 20, stuff like that. I think those have the crown at the moment. But Friends at the Table is largely like a Patreon-driven one. But you can also like listen to a number of their past campaigns on like podcast apps and stuff. And admittedly, I've actually been having a lot of trouble getting access to their older stuff, that it's not very organized. I think they just kind of let people come to them directly. And so, like, I don't think that format works exactly that well, but it's good enough that they seem to have a decent amount of viewers and watchers. Or listeners, I guess is the better way of putting it. But, you know, specifically a decent amount of people through Patreon and whatnot. And, well, it does... Oof. Gonna have to find that. Should be easy enough. I just don't have enough inventory space. Well, I don't want to be one of those people that's, like, fully locking everything behind a paywall. Having something that is, like, a separate site that isn't ruled by an algorithm is extremely tempting. Assuming I can get enough people to even pay attention to its existence. Yeah, I guess let's put a locker in here. I could also put things in the car in retrospect. Car's a little further away, because I don't want to have to warp back every single time I do this. That's a lot of goodies, too. Okay. But yeah, just slightly moving away from YouTube, because I'm not going to say that, like, YouTube and Twitch are kind of hostile entities at this point, but it's super clear that because both Twitch and YouTube are owned by larger corporations, specifically Twitch owned by Amazon, YouTube by Google, these larger corporations have different goals than just keeping YouTube running, if that makes sense. And so as part of that, I'm finding myself slightly frustrated dealing with YouTube, and to a lesser degree Twitch. I think Twitch is fine. They keep adding weird, dumb features, but none of them, like, change too much how the site works. But with YouTube, and really this is true of everything with Google, whenever Google latches onto some new trend they really want to push, Google has, like, an internal rewards mechanism for anybody that manages to crowbar whatever the new thing is into a pre-existing Google product. Google rewards them. So back when Google Plus was, like, a thing that Google was trying to make happen, they had, like, reward mechanisms to incentivize teams to put Google Plus in and force people to sign up for Google Plus, even if it actively made the other service worse. Because for them, well, for Google, they did not care about making these other services worse. They already had, I mean, not even borderline a monopoly. They just had a monopoly on whatever the service is, you know, and F you if you want it to stay sane or good. You know, who are you gonna, or like what competitor is there to YouTube that you would go to instead? There is none. And so it's kind of frustrating. So right now Google is focusing really hard on AI because, I mean, a lot of reasons, namely that's what investors are willing to throw endless amounts of money on, and therefore Google wants that investor money. Because at this point, Google's business is not to make good products, it is to make products that attract investors endlessly, over and over and over again. Let's see, do I want to carry these with me? No, I'll just leave them here. They're not going to get pulled out of it anyway. And so the problem with this is, like, it's how you start ending up with, like, AI being jammed into stuff where it really does not make any sense whatsoever, or it actively harms the business. What was a good example of this one? I mean, like Duolingo, kind of, sort of, but I swear there are better examples of a business. Well, I mean, easy enough example of this is YouTube, now that I'm thinking about it. YouTube, as a whole, was a platform for... Oh, we're actually kind of in the correct position. It's over here somewhere. Oh, it's on top of these. Wonder never looks up. Not beating the accusations. There we go. But so YouTube for years, honestly, has been in a fine spot. The problem is it's kind of at its market cap and it's not going anywhere. Google needs AI to work so that their investors are happy. So kind of hostile ownership make YouTube worse to try and make AI ascendant. Who cares if it breaks YouTube? And so, yeah, Shell was reading this article talking about how at this point, for a person that is not sub to any channels and has no viewing history, if you open up a YouTube channel, or like if you open the YouTube homepage, roughly 20% of the videos that are being suggested to you are AI generated at this point. And that's not going to say that that's strictly going to destroy YouTube on its own, but any site or platform that incentivize to that degree instantly becomes toxic to its, actually, I don't know if we needed this to be here. Because these things have, like, oh, wait, no, never mind. These things have filled out. Cripes, okay. I guess we did need that. I'll warp back and go over there. Don't think it's tried to recommend me any videos, AI-generated videos in a while. And some part of this is also, it might actually just be hard to spot them. Like, that is a legitimate issue. That AI generation has gotten a lot harder to see, which is not great. But one way or another, like, I think maybe parts of that are getting better just because so many people do reject AI once they realize it's there and that's what they're looking at. Okay, spent a week reporting them all, so it stopped. Fair enough. Guess YouTube gets the message. Yeah. He's recommending me those annoying Bigfoot AI videos. Wow. I don't know. And ultimately, there's like no depths that these people, I'd say creators, but there's no depths that they'll stoop to as long as it can get them clicks. And yeah, AI. YouTube is happy to accept that because once again, for them it helps. But so from my own perspective, I've been frustrated with this because YouTube has been trying really hard to push me into, I can even pull this up. Let me get to it. Let me stand inside. I'm just gonna pull this whole tab out so you guys can see. So you guys don't see this on the front end, but I used to respond to like every single or not every single comment, but I used to read every single comment, and I tried to respond to a bunch of them. See these little gray boxes? This is Google Gemini just being jammed into the YouTube community page, where it's constantly being like responding for me, trying to match my tone because it's trained off of me. And, you know, it's not always there. Obviously, if I leave a response, it gets rid of them. But these are everywhere. And it is slightly infuriating. If I want to go to this, it's got little Google Gemini things being like, you know, how did viewers find my content? How many, like, this is all just little Gemini things that they want to jam in there. If we go to content, notice the thing on the left side. You know, previously it had been videos, but no, the first tab on my content page is inspiration, which is Google Gemini trying to tell me how to make various videos. And then it generates titles, and then it generates a bunch of like shitty thumbnails for me. All of this is dog shit, and it has not been better. It just latches onto whatever my like most like popular recent video was, and then it's like, let's try and figure it out. It's interesting how they all match this like really weird, I mean, honestly kind of nice color palette, but it's like the consistency of it is very strange. But yeah, it's completely useless. None of it does anything. This is worthless to me. But Google's been trying to push this stuff for like ages and pack it in everywhere to try and like, the unfortunate part is me even looking at that page has given them like effectively one metric for, oh, this user has used AI once. And like the titles sound kind of cool, but it's because it's trained off of infinite clickbait. Of course it's going to figure out how to clickbait kind of well. And so my problem with that is just like, as a creator, as somebody who's like trying not to just barf slop myself, it is a little exhausting being put into this position where it's like constantly, the machine is constantly trying to shove this down my throat. And so, well, it would be potentially harder for me long term to be fully independent of YouTube, which is why I wouldn't do it. Let's see. What's the chip? Not my backpack. Warden key detector. It's for finding a like endgame thing to get off, or to beat the game, actually. I think I need more drones. Again. Well, you know what? We can go back to making drones-ish. That's it. AI is here to stay and nothing's going to change that situation. I don't believe that, actually. I sincerely believe that it's dog shit and probably is not going to last. That it's not particularly profitable and, well, you know, it's going to probably stick around in such a way that it kind of like radiation in steel from like World War II and onwards, like that after the nukes went off and caused radioactive particles to go everywhere, now it's impossible to find steel that is not slow-level radiation for whatever reason. It's going to be like that, but I don't actually foresee it lasting long-term. Most people kind of hate it, and if you don't, you really might want to consider what you believe in. Okay, do I have the T3? No, we can get the better one. I should work on that. Anyway, I don't believe in that kind of dumb doomerism of it is here to stay for forever. Because that's what people said about NFTs, and look where NFTs currently are. Nowhere. And like, yeah, it has a little bit more of a use case, but it is really, truly not popular either. I think it's like only 10% of the population is even willing to use this stuff, and most people still hate it. Okay. I think it was like 80% have a negative view on AI. 70% of the human population actually just hates it, as opposed to just like negative towards it. That's heartening. The main problem is corporations are trying really hard to make it a thing because it's the only way that they can potentially monopolize creative industries fully. And I mean, considering even how bad movies have gotten lately, don't want it. Don't want anything to do with it. It's going to sneak into any possible thing. See, I don't think so. I think there's enough people out there that hate it that are going to be like, hey, I'm not using this, you know, dog shit technology. And eventually it just becomes unprofitable for people to use it. And yeah, once the investors dry up, corporations aren't even going to be pushing it anymore. I think a couple will. I think it'll be one of those where it's like, oh, you know what? I should be grabbing a shit ton of these. Okay. We're limited on how much purification gel I have. How much is this? 1822. So we want to do kind of the same. So that's 10. 22. And then as much tungsten as we can get, because we want to get as many of these air purifiers as we can. Like, obviously, it's wonder technology for CEOs, and like the problem with AI in general is it is wonder tech for CEOs who can't, who want to effectively have like no one working for them, so they can just hit the make thing button and not have to pay a single human being in the process of, you know, the make thing button being activated. Let's see if I can line this up. Ideally, I want minimal gaps between these just because tidy, question mark. And so like, I know people, CEOs are going to love it, and they've been the main proponent of it. Oh, I guess I didn't stack these together as well as I wanted to. Let's just try that again then. Might be easier from a bird's eye view. Oh yeah, this is much nicer. Let's see. But like, as we've seen in the past, you can't just like manifest success as like a as like a media franchise or anything like that. I wouldn't exactly say that this is fully true. Avatar is kind of a good example of vapid content that somehow is like magically successful and profitable. Not to say that Avatar is specifically bad, so much as just like the first Avatar movie actually had cultural impact. You had people who were like talking about it, and like I think there was like a real thing where people were talking kind of about people being notably depressed because they couldn't live on whatever the planet is in Avatar. I haven't seen an Avatar movie since the first one came out. And then there are all the people like making themselves into whatever the Na'vi? I think that's what it was. On like social media. Like that was cultural impact. Apart from some people being like, yeah, I guess the new Avatar movie was pretty. I have not seen a single person talking about them. Oh, Pandora. Right, that's what the planet was called. Okay. So what I was going to say. I was even talking about it. Oh, wanted not to distract from your conversation. Feel honored that my question about if you played No Man's Sky got you to hop back in for a bit. I'm actually going to hop back in for the next season since it's launching in a couple of days. And then I'll probably do like an actual mini-series. Maybe, I don't know if I want to do No Man's Sky after Planet Craft or not. I'll have to think on it. But yeah, like AI, which isn't even AI, it's machine learning, actually has some uses. Like people have brought up the whole like brain scanning thing, and admittedly that has its own issues. Like apparently it has trouble. Machine learning that is like for the aberrant brain cell detection thing was trained on so many white people's brains that it was actually having trouble diagnosing people from other ethnicities because there's slight biological differences. And so it was one of those where it was like actively ignoring problems in other people, like in other ethnicities, because it wasn't trained to detect them, which I actually thought was really interesting, but also that's very, very solvable. And so like that kind of machine learning is good just because it's not stealing anybody's jobs and is actively, helping people. Whereas like AI generating concept art for a video game is bad. It's taking jobs away from people and ultimately devaluing the thing that it's supposed to be assisting with. And also it's trained off of like a gazillion people's work. I think I have a couple hundred of my YouTube thumbnails, if not thousands at this point, in the training data for these models. And it's kind of insulting that, every single one of these companies is like, here, will AI generate thumbnails for you? And it's like built off of my stuff. Feels gross. And so whenever anybody's like, oh, it's the future, I'm like, thanks. So me just being stolen from, I guess, is the way the world works now. Oop, there's stuff in there. It was the level 5 CEO was talking about, there was kind of a negative reaction because he was talking about how, every developer uses AI now and it's the future and they're using it for like concept art and writing and a bunch of other stuff, which is gross. Like, I don't really want my games to be written by AI. That's how you get really bland stories for sure. And so a bunch of people were reacting negatively to, the level 5 CEO for talking about this stuff, saying that like, hey, this sucks. We loved your games. Why are you doing this? And he was like, stop calling it a plagiarism machine, because that was like one of the main kind of retorts. And for me, that's always super frustrating, purely from the perspective of, no, it is a plagiarism machine. It's built on theft. Of course it has to be. And so is one of the main reasons why I want AI to stay the hell away from anything creative focused, is because there's no real easy way to make a model that works, that looks good, without stealing from other folks. You just don't have enough training data. And even if you did, it's taking away like a huge aspect of humanity. Um, let's see. Because human communication, human creativity, human-made projects, like that's what art should be. That's the kind of thing that should be bounded purely to humanity and how do I say? I mean, really, it's just one of those where it's like, it's something that humans should have. Okay, there we go. Complete control over and not have to worry about like an AI doing that job for them, because what is even the point of making those things at that point if, you know, why read a book that somebody didn't bother to write? Stuff like that. And so, like, obviously this is not the best place for me to like get deep into this kind of thing, you know, while trying to play a game while being distracted. But fundamentally, it's one of those where just like, there's places for machine learning that I think are good, but there's a lot of places where it's just being used to replace people or devalue people in such a way that it's like not great. And almost always in these cases, like, in so many cases with the games industry especially, it's new tech comes out or new trend happens or layoffs happen or really anything. No matter what, it always seems like the gaming CEOs are the ones on top. They're the ones pushing the new thing, whatever it is, and then they're the ones that ultimately profit the most from it. And so it always feels weird when I'm seeing, like, I think they had said like it would, you know, really assist and unlock creativity. I'm like, you're just a business guy. You know, when was the last time you actually had a hand in making these games? And maybe level 5 is a little bit more interactive, but I find that hard to fully believe. I'm thinking of, oh, who was it recently? There's some other, like, Western companies where the CEOs are like, oh, this is going to be amazing. Oh, you know what it was? It was the, I guess they weren't Western, I think they're European, but the Kingdom Come Deliverance guy was complaining about how he, like, the main character's voice actor, had spent like 500 hours in the recording booth leading up to Kingdom Come Deliverance's release, and how that was somehow a bad thing. 500 hours is like 3 months of just like regular daily work at a studio, you know, just full-time employment. And so whenever I see these CEOs being like, oh, it's the future, it's going to unlock creativity, almost always it's just them communicating that I get to fire more people and have whatever this game match my specific vision of what it's going, of, you know, what the game should be. And I don't have to share it with other folks. The problem is I find a lot of these CEOs, the people in charge of studios to be, I mean, many of them were business majors originally, that they weren't actually like even involved in the game design process. They got brought in afterwards to be in charge because whoever the original like developers were didn't want to do the business aspect. Kind of like how Bobby Kotick has never made a video game before, but still was in charge of Blizzard and Activision for literally years. Because, ooh, it's just quartz up here. A lot of it, too. Good to know. I knew I wanted to clear this area out for some reason. It wasn't this, but I'm glad I did. I don't actually think we need much for Blazar quartz. But, like, in almost every single game studio at the moment, it really is one of those where, like, the people who are running them are, like, random finance bros and business folks. Very few of them have ever made a game before. Who kind of muscled their way in, either through, you know, the studio running on hard times and getting acquired, or... Okay, we'll have to leave the rest of this. Might want to actually build a second micro base up here, so I can put some blockers down and whatnot. Let's see. Drop these off? Yeah, we don't have anything else to store in there. We might want to take a drink, but not immediately.